worry?
I worry sometimes, Braden.
That's news to me.
Well, is it though?
No.
Yeah.
I was being sarcastic.
If anything people know about me is that, and I wasn't always this guy.
It's anxious.
No, like I'd hate to say I was ever the most unworried guy in the world, but I feel like I used to be a lot less worried.
Used to be more like Jared.
God, I hate to say I was ever that good, but closer on the spectrum.
Our friend Jared, who has been on the podcast before, claims he's never felt anxious before, and I believe him.
I believe him as well.
He just doesn't worry about things.
It's not even that he hasn't felt it. He doesn't understand the concept.
Yeah.
Of it.
Of just worrying for no reason.
Well, a quote that we bring up of Jared's a lot, Miranda and myself, others that were there at the time, was it was New Year's a couple years ago, and he goes, we were talking about anxiety, and he just goes, so what, do you guys just sit around worried about things that might happen? And we were like,
yeah.
Yes. He was just like, I don't have time for that. Like, fuck, is that all it takes?
He's very tuned in. I don't know how to describe it. Dedicated or...
I truly believe if Jared ever did mushrooms, which he's down to do, I think he could take over the world. I think he could take over the world. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So Jared, if you're listening to this, I truly do. Yeah. His mind in its own form.
Jared for 2024.
Jared for world ruler 2024.
Yeah.
And I also think the world would be a better, if not more interesting place.
Stunning recommendation.
How about it? Welcome to Nerd Shit in the Dark, shitters.
Everyone.
It's good to be back. Good to be in the office.
Yep, it's been a while since we've been in the dome.
I wanted to actually discuss. There's been a number of things that I've caught myself off from talking to you about since you got here. And one of those is when I was looking at my Instagram the other day, and I saw a post from when I posted about the podcast on it. It was July 7th, and that was when I posted the last episode.
The last episode we did?
Yeah, I posted on July 7th. I mean, we recorded it on July 1st. It's August.
It's August, yeah.
5th. It's been over a month.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I didn't even think it was that long.
I didn't either until I saw the date, and I was like...
Yeah, I guess it has been a while.
We did the wings thing a couple weeks ago, so that probably helped bridge the gap.
Yeah.
But since we've done this, a month.
Wild.
Very wild. Time. Summer. Out the door. I thought we were going to get more done this summer. But the beauty of that is, Braden, is
Chaz?
I have gotten into a lot of new nerd shit that I am super duper excited to jump into whenever. I'm not saying let's get into new nerd shit right away, but
just jazz them.
I have had so much time to just do a lot of shit, and I'm so excited.
Good, because for a while there it was a barren wasteland of new nerd shit for you. I had to carry us for a while.
I had a guest on the show because they were like, Chase, what'd you do for the show? Still playing Zelda?
God damn it.
Damn it. No, now it's, ever since I got done with Zelda, I am just...
It's a renaissance.
I'm stoked.
Well, awesome. I'm glad.
Me too.
What are you stoked about?
All of it? I've discovered things.
Rank them.
Rank them. So I'd say I'm most excited to talk about the video games I want to talk about tonight.
Okay.
Most excited about that. The TV shows, I think the point I want to make about one of the TV shows makes it the second, but there's a movie I want to talk about that I'm probably more excited to talk about.
All right.
Like I said, I have a lot to talk about. So the theme of this episode, though we're going to end with our Barbie review, like I said earlier, we're nerding out.
Nerding out. We're nerding all over the place.
Which I think sometimes the podcast shines best when we just kind of
shoot all of our nerd shit on the walls, on the floor, on the ceiling, everywhere.
Out and about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boot and a boot.
Oh, and I don't know about you. Did you have a lot of time to indulge in some new nerd shit?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I've been busier. It's been a busier summer than I anticipated.
I wanted to ask about that first, actually. You got to visit with friends from out of town, and you said you had a fun time doing it?
I had a grand old time, yeah. We went to, so my one friend, Amy, who I knew from the Peace Corps, invited us to D.C., where she's currently living with her boyfriend. John. I'd never met John before. He's a very nice man. And I was going with 3 of my other Peace Corps friends plus another friend who is dating my friend Riley, one of the Peace Corps friends.
Riley.
Yeah. She's my friend too, but she wasn't in the Peace Corps with us. They met when he was in Somalia. So,
People travel.
yeah, I've got some traveling friends,
Cool.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it was a great time. John is like, well, for one thing, he works for like this really fancy law firm. I'm pretty sure. Like he makes a lot of money, and then he's also like from a rich family. So like, and he's originally from California, but like, he's a pretty smart guy and like lived in DC for a while, so he kind of knew a lot of the.
Is he the one that you said was attractive?
Which one did I say was attractive?
Oh, I thought you mentioned
I said
a friend.
a man was attractive.
Yes. Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah. Yes, you said he was a very attractive man, not in like a gay sense, but like you were saying that he was a good-looking fellow.
Oh, I think you're thinking of Colin.
Mm-hmm.
Colin is one of my other Peace Corps.
Yeah, you were in a hot tub with him.
Yes, yeah, that's
Okay.
Colin. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing happened. Nothing happened, but
Yeah.
no.
You were in a hot tub with him. You were like, he's really attractive.
No, Colin, yeah, he was one of my best friends in the Peace Corps. We had language class together. We were neighbors in the village when we were in training.
In the village.
Yeah, so like we have a great relationship. He was there as well, visiting with us. But yeah, we all make fun of him because he's very attractive.
What a thing to be made fun of.
I know,
That's
right?
probably why people made fun of me growing up.
Yeah, that's probably why too.
probably
They
it.
just thought you were really hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
But no, we make jokes about how hot he is because he is just like he.
But he wasn't one of the ones that showed up with you for your weekend.
No, he was. He was
He
there.
was.
Yeah, he was
Cool.
there. Yeah,
Cool,
yeah, he was
cool.
there.
John, Carl, Colin.
Yeah, he's from Indiana, not Indiana,
Right,
Pennsylvania.
that's where the confusion
Indiana,
was.
the state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So Colin was there. My friend Riley was there, who was dating Meredith, the
Meredith.
one
Meredith.
that he met in Somalia,
Wait. Who's Meredith?
his girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
And my friend Kelly.
Okay.
Anyways, John knew all the spots. But yeah, so it was a fun time. John knew a lot of the spots. Like, he knew he took us to a speakeasy, which I've never been to before.
Ooh,
it was
okay.
like in the back of a chicken shop. Like, it was a chicken restaurant, and then you just like walked back, and there's a security guard by by the door, and like they let you in, and that was pretty cool. And then we went to a jazz bar where it was like a live jazz band playing.
Yes.
And we also took some mushrooms. And
Yes.
so it was awesome.
A good time.
I became a jazz fan that night. I was like,
Were you a jazz fan prior?
not real. I mean, I
Oh.
didn't hate jazz. Like I enjoyed some jazz,
Sure.
but I've never like actively listened to it. But that was like,
You should do some mushrooms, and I'll put on the Cowboy Bebop record.
oh, I love the Cowboy Bebop jazz. Yeah, no,
Listen to it on mushrooms. Not that I have. That
Right on.
sounded like me being like, I'm telling you. But I just,
probably would be a good experience.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, but
It's
no,
like
it was
going in.
it was a fun time.
That's awesome. Yeah, when you told me about that, I was like, well, we got to talk about that on the pod. You see anything cool during your mushroom time? Or
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we took mushrooms, which was like the
This is the in the dark section.
party night. Yeah, this is the NSFW sections. Don't let your kids listen to us.
Yeah, I do mark it like that.
Yeah. And then we took acid the next day.
Oh my
just walking
God.
around DC, and it was so weird being on acid in DC because we were like walking to like all the monuments and stuff, and I'm like, people from all around the world have come here to this central location, and they built a nation, and they built all these monuments, and I was seeing like
Oh, wow.
I was seeing like the origins of
Our country.
Yeah, basically, it's just like I was really into it. I was just like,
Oh, wow.
whoa, this is the power core.
Jeez.
There's so much power in this
You got
city.
full blown fucking American
Yeah, I was.
on mushrooms.
Yeah, I was.
You
just
were like, let's storm the Capitol. Let's do it.
no, I wasn't like that. I was just like, it's just so wild, like the amount of people who have like been here and like gone through things.
I have to go unlock the door.
Unlock the door.
But you
Should we
keep.
pause?
Nope.
Who am I gonna talk to? Okay. I don't know what to say. You should have just paused it. We'll just cut this. Yeah, I was seeing the origins of our country, all the different groups of people that have gone through the area, and then I was like, I'm from the Appalachian hill folk. Like I'm like a hill person. These are like, you know, the elite city coastals. And
Wow.
it was wild.
Jeez, yeah, that shit got you good.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
Huh.
It was fun.
I mean, it sounds fun. Manager Miranda's home.
Manager Miranda is back.
Blood shaking, Miss Bacon.
He's got to pee.
He's got to piss.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? I don't. You? Okay, good. Okay, good. Cool. Well, dude, it's been a while since I've done anything like that, so it's always fun. I'll never do it again, but I love hearing the stories.
You say that now.
I do say it now, but I know the man how we started the show. I worry.
It's true.
And that gets me. So yeah, now that we're all caught up, let's dish, man. Getting some nerd shit.
All right. What do you want to start?
Do you want to start? Do you have anything?
I think so.
Start, and I'll follow. I'll go second.
First off, have I talked about Deep Rock Galactic on the podcast yet?
Is it a video game?
Yes.
I don't think so.
So, I've been playing that a lot recently.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Yeah.
Good, you're starting with a video game because I wanted to kind of start with video games.
Yeah. No, most of my new stuff is video games. I've been watching many new shows.
I'm gonna blow him out of the water in the later rankings of this episode. Everybody, just be ready for that.
We'll see about that.
We won't.
So, anyways, Deep Rock Galactic. It's like gotten really popular recently. Like I see a lot of references to it all the time, and it doesn't look like a game I'd normally be into, but it's basically a first-person shooter where your space dwarves that are mining this alien planet.
Oh wait, no, this is you were playing a different game called Dwarf Kingdom or something.
Yes, I got
this is different.
Before the dwarf phase, I was into the ocean phase, and now I'm in.
Now you're in the dwarf phase. Okay, I didn't want to think it was the same
dwarf themed things.
It's a different game.
Different game.
Cool beans. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I saw Deep Rock Galactic because it was in like the related games.
Sure, right.
I bought Dwarf
Gnome genre.
Yeah, and I'd heard like good things about it and like references and stuff. But basically, it's like every level is procedurally generated, and you have certain objectives that you have to complete. You have to like mine through, these caverns in this planet while also fighting off bugs and like other enemies, because this planet has like giant spider bugs that try and kill you.
Okay.
They'll, like swarm you and stuff. And so
space spiders.
Space spiders, yeah.
Dope.
They're the natives of the alien planet.
The natives are giant spiders.
Yeah.
I get the fuck off of that
But
planet.
they're space dwarves, and it's like an extremely mineral-rich planet. So they're like extracting it and stuff. But
it's like Avatar.
yeah, and there's 4 different classes that you can play, which are all play pretty differently, but they're pretty fun. I play the scout, which is like the fastest one that can like grapple around things, and like you get different traversal tools. And there's like the gunner has the best weapons. The driller, which can like drill through walls and stuff, and then
You are mining, so
yeah,
I guess
the engineer, which can blow things up and create platforms and stuff.
Do you play with people online or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can also do it
You
solo.
gotta roll.
You can do it solo, like it adjusts the difficulty level compared to how many people you have going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really fun. You'll see a lot of references to it online. It's really easy to just like.
What's it on?
I got it on Steam.
Okay. I'm not sure if it was like a cell phone game or something.
No.
Nice.
Yeah, it's.
I respect the way you said no when I said that, and the way you kind of scoffed when I said a phone game. I agree. Phone games are dumb.
I don't play phone. I was into Genshin for a while.
Phonies.
But
Genshin, yeah. But you can also play that on other things.
yeah, I fell off of that for.
I tried it. I did, and it looks like a great game. But because I was playing it on my phone, I was like, phones are not for playing fucking video games on. I don't care who says what about it.
Phones are for looking at porn. Phones are for looking at porn. Nothing else.
And then strictly that. It's literally, it's got this side feature that lets you talk to people And you're just trying to watch porn.
Right.
Cool.
So that's my main one. I've also been playing 7 Days to Die with Dylan Orchid.
Oh yeah, I've had friends that are into that game.
Yeah.
Dylan,
You've played with Dylan.
I have.
Before.
I have played with Dylan once before.
Once.
Just the once.
Just the one time.
Seems fun.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
But it's a zombie game where it's like zombie survival. It's kind of like DayZ, if you've ever seen stuff from that. Where like
Nas's cat.
Yes.
Daisy.
Yeah, it's exactly. Where you have to, it's typical survival horror. Have to scavenge for resources.
Oh yeah, I know this game.
Base building. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like on the 7th day, every 7 days,
Rest.
it's like yes. Yeah, you relax.
Chill out.
Every 7 days.
Zombies, I'm taking a me day.
There's like a giant zombie. It's called a blood moon, and like there's like
on Zelda.
Yeah, there's like a zombie wave.
Did I tell you I played Zelda?
Did you? I don't think you ever mentioned that before.
I did. Sorry, go on.
So yeah, you gotta build up your base and get better skills and stuff to fight off the zombie waves.
Yeah. Like I said, I have friends that like Ernie and Nos and them used to play that. I've heard about it. Yeah,
It's fun.
seems fun.
With friends.
You and Dylan. Yeah.
I've also been playing Sea of Thieves with Sam.
You've told me that. I could see you guys can't tell what's going on here, but Braden the Brad Neilster is he's giving me a little salt.
A little bit.
He wants me to play video games.
Yeah.
He hasn't asked me to play in a while. I don't know why he's talking to me like this. We set up a date this one time.
Because I just assumed it's never.
And I didn't hear from him that day, so I was like, oh.
You didn't seem that enthused.
Monday, you were like, we'll play Monday. And when that Monday came, I was waiting for my text, and I heard nothing. I'm not just going to get on. Give me a text, and I will do my best. I'm almost done with Final Fantasy, so honestly, I will be more ready to play. My next game I plan to play on my PlayStation or something is maybe like a 16-hour game. You know what I mean? A small one.
To be fair, I make it sound like I've been playing with them every night.
You haven't.
I've played with Dylan Orchid once recently. And
okay, Sam.
Once recently.
That one time that you guys played.
We've played a
couple times. Okay, so once recently.
Yeah, one was pretty recent. We actually did really well. He's already better at the game than I am.
Wow, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a surprise.
Yeah,
Sam's a pretty good video game player.
Session with him, and like we made more money than I have in like session, like because he just like knows all this stuff about it now. And like,
yeah, Sam likes him some video games. We'll have to get him on the show and talk about video games sometime because he plays some interesting ones like you, and he's good at. Man, I can't remember what it was, but he had some ungodly number of hours on his Animal Crossing, the Switch one.
Yeah.
And it shows. He showed us his island, and I was like, God,
this looks great.
Damn. I don't even like this game, and it's pretty good. So, I will do my best. I promise. We'll play video games online together soon, bud.
Sounds good.
We gotta do our stream, but we'll get to that too. We just gotta play. We don't play enough games together, you and I.
We both love games, and we never play games.
Almost never play together, at least.
Just separately by ourselves.
I get that though. A lot of the games I play are just kind of one-player games, but
yes, I mean,
we played Pokemon together a few times.
And I've also been getting into more multiplayer games. Like Deep Rock Galactic is a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
Get a lobby with your friends and just do whatever.
Pick a game. I'll do my best.
All right.
But yeah, well, I want to talk about some games.
Let's hear them.
And they're two kind of the same games, but at the same time, they're not. They're two very different games. Yeah.
Do tell.
So the Steam Summer Sale came, and due to my being really into Final Fantasy right now and playing the new one, I'd been watching a lot of videos talking about different types of like JRPG, more classic, all sorts of different kinds of series, and I was looking specifically in that section on the Steam sale for like a cheap, because Steam sale, dude, fuck me, what deal.
It's always been that way.
$50 to $60 games for like $7.99. Yeah. God damn. So
something to look out for.
I purchased a game called No Kuni.
Okay. Sounds like some weeb shit.
Have you ever heard of it?
No.
So let me talk to you about it, because there's two of them. I've actually finished the first one in the time.
One and Nino Kuni.
Nino Tuni.
It's
not what it's called, but it should be. I finished the first one a couple weeks ago, and I started the second one. So I'm planning to talk about both of these games, because though they are from the same series, they are very unique games, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. So, yeah. Let me describe Ni no Kuni. So it's a game that came out on the PlayStation 3. I think the original version of it was on the DS, but they recreated it for the PS3. And it's a game by Studio Ghibli, teamed up with this game. You know Studio Ghibli?
Studio Ghibli, yeah.
Ghibli. You're not doing this. Ghibli.
All right.
I thought it was Ghibli for a while too there, but it's Ghibli. Trust me.
That's confirmed?
Yeah, go on YouTube, man. It's a big deal.
This is the whole, like, GIF thing.
Kind of, but, like, if you just listen to the guy that runs the studio say it in his Japanese voice, he's saying Ghibli. Yeah, Ghibli.
Well, what about English speakers? Can't we say it our own way?
I guess you could, but
Ghibli also
I don't actually care if you say Ghibli, but
it's not something you're passionate about.
Online community gives a fuck.
Not like,
which is why I'm trying to be specific with Ghibli.
Or whatever you call it.
Mana, which is what it fucking is. So, Mana.
It's like that A sound more.
I think it's fine. I think people can say it. I don't mind that people say it.
Mana?
But the way you called me out about Mana was why I have to be like, oh, well, yours is the wrong way to say it. But we don't need to get into this again. No. Sam already agreed with me. Google, I had it say it for me. But
Google
that's neither here nor there.
Weird.
Yeah, well, sometimes it doesn't.
Trust in AI's pronunciation?
I actually do. That being said, so Studio Ghibli made this game, and it's a very interesting JRPG. I don't even know. Strategy-based, turn-based type of video game.
Oh, I didn't think you're into those kind of games.
So I am, but I'm not. And the way this game plays makes turn-based very fun. And as I was playing it, I was just like, this is the direction. The way the game plays, I was like, this is the direction Pokemon should have taken at some point. Instead of sticking with kind of the way they do it. Because, and I'll explain what I mean by that. But I want to get into the plot a little. So the story, it's essentially, like I said, it's a pretty Japanese Studio Ghibli. So like, it's this boy, and the cool thing, it's got cutscenes, it's got like text scenes, but it also has like Studio Ghibli animated, like just so there's animation scenes throughout it. So that's really fun about it. But it's about this character. It's this boy. I think he's like 10. His name's Oliver, and
Oliver Twist.
Oliver. I don't know if he has a last name. Oliver.
We'll just go with Twist.
Okay, Oliver Twist. He was like, more, please. What is no? You're gonna get me into spoilers.
Deep literary references and nerd shit in the dark.
So, in this world that he lives in, like our society, like the real world, but there's a alternate universe that he finds out about after his mother saves him from drowning at the beginning of the game, and she dies because the character at one point says like her heart's always been bad, and she fucking dies. And this doll your mother gave to you, it turns out to be this fairy from a different dimension.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he tells you, he's like, in my dimension, everybody in this world has a like a soulmate, which is like their other version of themselves. So, like your mom,
someone you fuck.
No, your mom. Yeah, no, yeah, no.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. That's the thing. I'm so used to how they talk in this game, I forgot that that's what it was. But this game, a soulmate is like your parallel universe person, and like your mom's soulmate should still be in our world, so we can save your mom by going to see the soulmate. And that's like what gets this kid off the ground. But it gets way more complicated, all that, when the story gets going. Yeah, and so you travel between because you're a mage of some sort. You're like a wizard. And
in the parallel world, or just
in general,
our real world, he's also a wizard.
You don't know this. The fairy, like, he gives you a wand. He senses magic in you.
Okay,
and
the fairy makes you a wizard,
basically. And you go to this. So you travel in between the two worlds throughout the game, because some of the concepts in the game is like you meet a character who has like an ailment or a broken heart, they call it in the game, and the only way to save them is to solve what's going on with their soulmate in like the other world.
It's like therapy.
So you have to travel, kind of, and because you solve one of their problem, which is essentially you fight like a fucking dark demon that's got like corruption of their soul, and once you beat that,
Sounds kind of.
but you also solve like their life problems, and then you go back to the parallel world, and like those like the king at one point he's fucked up, so you got to go fix his like other, and you go back and he's like, I'm your best friend.
That reminds me of Psychonauts. Have you ever played those games?
I have it. It's a little bit. It kind of.
It's like you're going into their mind.
Sort of.
Like a different.
But by going to like
and then you're
solving
like,
their soulmate
problem. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just kind of like what the story is. So you go along like through this whole fucking awesome fantasy adventure, and you build your party. But the cool thing about this is, so you're Oliver. You play as Oliver, and you get two other human characters that join you throughout the game as it goes on. One's like a shooter, one like he plays like harp or something. I don't remember what her ability was, but you also have familiars. So like
animals,
like little creatures, like Pokemon.
Oh
yeah, it's kind of like Pokemon-esque. It's this turn-based RPG. Like before you have familiars, it's just you fighting, and then all of a sudden you get a familiar, and then you get the girl, and she happens to have a familiar. And as the game goes on, it's like you can catch more familiars.
I was gonna say, do you have the same familiar throughout, or can you switch them out?
You can get a bunch of different ones. I kept
the ones that you had before.
No, you can like store them in this, not a PC, but like they go into this like drain thing.
It's drain, but you just shove them down a drain pipe.
It's a living drain type thing. So,
but they're happy there.
They are. They're yeah. And you can have a few in storage, and everybody gets 3. So you have Oliver, the girl Gretchen. I can't remember their names anymore, which sucks. It's only been like 2 weeks, but each character gets 3 familiars that you can switch out, and
they have like elemental powers.
They do have like elemental powers. Yeah. And you have to like. And like you get into battles by like interacting with other wild ones. You fight wild ones, and you can't always catch them. Like certain battles end and you just like get experience, but sometimes one will have like a heart go over its head, and you can have the harp girl play a song that makes it join your party.
So she's like a bard.
Yes, but she's also the daughter of like a fucking super mage guy too.
So she basically makes
Esther.
She makes the vibes so immaculate that
they want to be. You just
be in your
basically killed them, and they're like, no, I'll be your friend.
Actually, you guys rock.
So, and like you can evolve them. Like you get certain stones throughout the game that once they get to a certain level, you can put on them and they'll evolve. The interesting thing with this game is when you evolve one, they only have like 2 or 3 forms. But when you evolve one, it goes back to level 1.
Oh.
But its base stats are improved. So once you level it up, like once it reaches that level it was before, it's always stronger. So that was like a cool thing, but also a bad thing, because like you'd be really far in the game, evolve one of your guys, and then have to level him up back to from level 1. So he's getting fucking killed by things.
That's fun, because that at least makes it fresh.
It does, and like you can switch up, and like he can gain experience just from being in the battle.
My biggest problem with Pokemon is like whenever I get a Pokemon to level 100, I rarely ever use them unless like I need them in like a really tough battle or like something with like those raid battles. But besides that, like in regular everyday interactions, like I don't use them. They're just like so powerful. Like I want to train up my other ones. Yeah,
and in this game, like every time you finish like a battle, everybody through the board gets experience. So like you're always leveling up, whether a fucking Pokemon, No Kuni, whatever familiar comes out or not. Like it'll get experience. Is that what
they're called?
They're just called familiars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what No Kuni means. But and like the way you battle with these, so it's like there's an overworld. It's that kind of RPG. Like sometimes you're behind the character, but when you leave towns, like there's this huge map that you travel across to go to different towns, and you can see like the ones you can run into to get into battles with. So when you get into like a battlefield, this is what I was talking about where I wish Pokemon would have did this. When you get into a battle, so you'll start as like Oliver, and like the other 3 are there, and you can choose to keep playing as Oliver and battle as Oliver, and you control him. Like you move him around, like you have control of him on the battle where he goes, and then you pick like what he's gonna do. This is, yeah. Ooh, Braden's been trying to open a beer for about 2 or 3, maybe 4
It's
minutes.
hard to do it. It's hard to open a beer with this kind of bottle opener with one hand. I got it though.
But you can also pick to throw out one of your familiars, and you control them. So you like, and then you like, it's got like 4 attacks that you from, or sometimes have 5 or 6. You go down with the D-pad and pick what attack you want or use. Like Pokemon, but you're controlling this creature, and you can tell him where to go, and you can hit attack, and he'll just, and you lock onto different. Because usually, like, you have 3 familiars, so you'll get into a battle with 3 other monsters. When the game starts, it's 1 and 1, then you get Esther, and then it's 2 and 2, and then when you get the 3rd guy, it's just 3 and 3 battles pretty much the whole time. And it's just fucking. I got very addicted to the gameplay style of this game. Like, what kept bringing me back was thinking about how unique I thought the battle system was. It's like certain ones were good at healing. So, you had your tanks, you had your, healers, you had your attacker. Like, it was so fucking fun.
Stealth ones?
Yeah, I mean, there were ones, I can't remember if stealth was their skill, but it was something like that. It was like, I'd have to look at the game, because like there was like attack, defense, magic attack, magic. I don't think stealth was the word, but the agility, shit like that. So yeah, and they all learn different kinds of attacks, and like Pokemon, but it was like the way that it played, I was just like, man, I wish Pokemon, because like Arceus kind of does this, but like you control the trainer as he just walks around while the Pokemon fight. And I'm like, what if you could literally just control the Pokemon? And that's how Ni no Kuni kind of plays, is you control the familiar that you've sent out. And the switching between different ones or different characters on the battlefield is flawless.
It does sound like a fresh take on that kind of style of game.
It's, for an older game, it's and it looks still beautiful. Like,
how old is it when it come out?
2000, I think 2010 or 11 originally, maybe 12.
So yeah, over 10 years.
Yeah, it released on the PS3, and it got remastered for PS4, and it was on Steam. Yeah, and like it's this very addicting story. It's kind of simple. It does hold your hands
addicting
a little
story.
Bit. It is, because the thing about the story is it reminded me of Elden Ring in a way of like, every day I felt like wherever I was on the story was just so vastly different than wherever. Like, one day I was fighting with sky pirates in the sky and flying a dragon from land to land. The next day I was in a graveyard fighting zombie creatures, or in a desert under the ground in a tomb of snakes. Like, it's just high fantasy, and you're just in all these different environments throughout the game. All the while, you're doing this Inuyasha shit where you're traveling back and forth between the timelines to do other stuff. Like, it's funny to see. It
sounds like it gets more complicated.
It's Studio Ghibli anime style, and it's, yeah, Ni no Kuni 1, Wrath of the White Witch. And it's challenging. It's a challenging, like, if you go from one place to the next, you will see, like, your Ni no Kunis, that's what I'm going to call them, I mean, that's not what they are, get fucking wrecked.
Right.
And then you have to train, you have to do this shit, but, like, it's fair. Like, you train a little bit, and you'll start to get the hang of the area, and every area gets, different and different. And, like, boss battles are challenging, but fair.
That's called being a well-balanced game.
It is. I would say a very well-balanced game, and I had a blast with this. I put about 50-something hours to beat it.
I feel like Pokemon, at least the past few games, have not been well-balanced in that they're too easy, and that most of the hard things in the game, if you just train a little bit, you're gonna wreck them. Yeah. And I just, there was a lot of the time I'm playing this game, and I'm just thinking, this is the direction Pokemon should have taken. And like, you could switch back to the trainer and pick items, or like, because if you wanted to use any of your items or provisions, you'd have to be, there's certain things only Oliver could do, or certain things only, like some like, if you got hit by a big attack, the game gave you the option to defend. Like, you could pick defend out of your attack so that you could block. Yeah. But not all of the Ni no Kunis or people have that ability, so you'd have to switch to them like really quick before the attack. Like, the game lets you know when a big attack's coming. That sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, and then there's like an all-out defense button, so you can get the whole party to defend at once if need be, if a really big attack's coming. Like, I would truly recommend this game if you'd be interested in.
You got my interest. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
I fell in love with it. I played it a lot, and yeah. Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Long. You got to put some time into it, but well worth it. And
you mentioned that the second game is different from the first game.
The second game is vastly different than the first game. That's the thing. It's kind of like how like Final Fantasies anymore are all like they were the same type of gameplay for about 10 of them, and then all of a sudden with like 11 up, they've made them different almost every game. This game it just plays. It's a completely different type of game. Like there's not a Pokemon creature system in Ni no Kuni 2. Like you just play as the characters that you are.
Oh.
Yeah, and
that sounds less fun.
It's not a turn-based game. It's all just like it's an action RPG. So I get a sword and
still good.
I have been enjoying it. I think I like it less than the first one because it is so different. But for the game that it is, because it has other features too. That's another thing. So like Ni no Kuni 2 is it's hundreds of years after the first one, and you play as like a prince boy from this kingdom that's from the first game that gets usurped. And he's like a cat person. All the towns, some of the towns are like animal based, like animal people. Because like I said, fairies, high fantasy.
There's just furries.
So the mouse fucking people. It's like some people are just cats, and some people are just like human looking with ears. That's what Evan, the main character's name, is.
Like half and half.
Yeah, kind of like that.
So their furries exist.
I don't know why. Furries, like what furries wanna be, are in this game. What they're going for.
I bet this game's very popular in the
probably. So you get usurped and you get kicked out, and it starts off where you're in a different character, the character that I choose to play as in this game, because I think Oliver, I don't know, he looks like a girl, and I just don't want to play as him. He's this little boy.
Because you're too attracted to him.
No, because he looks like a little girl, like a kid girl, and he sounds like a kid girl too. So I just like hard for me to believe he's a male character, is all.
Right.
So I don't want to play as him. Not
you can play as other people, or
you can choose to play as like you get more people in your party. Like in this game, I have where you only had the 3 before. I have 4 people right now, and I think more can show up.
Wait, so Oliver's in the second one?
Oliver's not in the second one.
He's not in the second one.
Hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
That's
why I was confused.
Evan is the new character, but I don't like playing as him, so I switched to I can't remember Roland. I think is the character's name, who is from the real world because they have to have that connection from like our world. And he's like the president or something, and he's an old ass man, and a bomb hits him.
The United States or Japan?
I don't really know. Must be Japan. A bomb hits him, and he like flies away, and you see his body kind of disintegrate as if it's going to the other world, and it does. And he's reincarnated as like a 20-year-old version of himself, and he's gonna help this guy become the king for reasons. That's another thing. The second one's story is not as solid as I think the first one's story is. So there's that. So I choose to play as him because you kind of start playing as him and you get a sword, and he's the sword character, and you can give him different.
Sword guy.
Yeah, because where Evan's like he has a sword, but he's more of the mage character, and like there's an axe and mace pirate guy that's also on my team, and a spear girl. Like,
I love
and
spear
everybody has different items that they can use, and you just pick and swap armor in this game. Which you did in Ni no Kuni 1. You could give each of your familiars certain armor, certain, weapons. Now you're just attaching them to just your characters that you physically play as throughout the game.
Why do you think they got rid of the Ni no Kunis?
What they replaced them with were these other creatures that get involved.
Ni no Tunis.
No, I don't even remember what they're called. Higgledies, I think.
Oh gosh.
And all they are these weird looking things, like where the other ones look like Pokemon and creatures, and you still fight like monsters like that in this game, but just as yourself. The Higgledies are these little like gooey elemental looking things. Like there's a blue one and an orange one and a red one, and they follow you on the field, and each of them has like an ability. So like when you hear them get ready, you can run up to them and hit X, and like one of them turns into a cannon and shoots the villain. One of them heals you. One of them uses a dark ability. One of them uses a water ability.
Dark ability?
Like there's a dark type. You know what I mean?
They just make it really dark.
Like a shadow, yeah, like a big fucking purple shadow ball.
It's like hard to see.
Yeah. So like I think the Higgledy thing it's different and it's fun. And I think the gameplay is fun. You still get into like, you get into a battle, it does turns to a different screen, and there's a battlefield screen, but you literally just control a character and you can swap between people on the battlefield who you want to play as. And you just physically, like where in the other one you chose attacks, you just, spam X or Y.
Sounds like it could be easily addicting.
It is less than the first one, but like fun if you just like those hack and slash mixed.
Definitely gonna check out the first one.
the first one, let me get through the second one first, and I'll give you my full review. I don't even know, probably 10 hours. I just got it like last week, but it has different features though as well. There's also so you're Evan and you're building your own kingdom. Another side portion of this game is you're establishing a kingdom. So there's a kind of town/kingdom building mechanic to the game.
That's fun.
Where you level up, like you give people jobs, and
I like when games have little building mechanics.
I didn't know if I was gonna like it, but I actually find it kind of interesting and fun.
Maybe you actually would like strategy games then.
That's what I mean. Like I didn't think I was gonna like because like each of them builds money. Like you go and do shit, you get back, and they're like, we've raised this much money since you've been gone, and then you can upgrade or build different sections to your town, and then you can go out and throughout the game and you do side quests, and those people will be like, oh, I want to be a part of your village. I'm good at this. And you'll be like, oh, I give them a job at one of these places I've opened. And you can level up and like get certain items from doing this. Like it affects the overall game. So that was an interesting portion that wasn't a part of the first one.
Yeah, I like that.
So
it's like,
yeah,
like with like probably
very different though.
Kind of like with Fallout 4, which I did not like Fallout 4 as a game.
You've said that before.
But I did enjoy the building aspect of the game. I did think that that's something that they should keep or should have kept.
I didn't think I was into it. That detracted me from, because when I was looking into these games originally, it was like, you can play either one in any order, it doesn't matter. And because of like the non-turn-based aspect of the second one, I was going to get it first. I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah.
But, and what deterred me from it was the town building thing. But now that I've been doing it, I don't hate it. And there's also like a different gameplay mechanic in this one where when you go out into the overworld, because like the overworld, just like in the first one, it's this big map and you're like a chibi character as you walk to like different sections. But in that chibi area now, you have like, I can't remember what they call them, but essentially like war battles where like your army has to go to battle with another army. So it's like an RTS at that point.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of different aspects of other games rolled into one.
Kind of like how the first one sort of was in its own way. This one was like, let's do that, but just with different things, which I thought was weird. I was like, to go from Pokemon game to like, oh, we're coming out with a sequel, and people probably expected another Pokemon game. Yeah. And it's very much not. Like the Higgledies are kind of like Pokemon, but like not really.
I like that. Like it shows that they're creative and they like to branch out and try new things, and that's very ambitious.
I do not hate it. I think I like the first one more, but I still think this one's really fun. And like I said, the art, Studio Ghibli itself didn't work on the second one, but like people that used to work for Studio Ghibli did.
So some of that expertise transferred.
Yes, like the character, like there's no more, the second one doesn't have the nice animated sections anymore, but like it came out on PS4. It looks pretty good just as it is as a video game. So yeah, No Kuni series. Totally play the first one for sure to get it starts slow. Like I remember the first one, like the way it started, I was like, I don't know about, like, I don't think I'm gonna like this.
Yeah, you kept with it.
I sure did, and it was easy too. Like I sunk by 5 hours in, I was like, I'm in it. Yeah. And like I said, I have 40 something, maybe close to 50 hours on it to get through the story. So you do got to kind of play a lot, but totally worth it.
That's not like terrible. I mean, some games have like 200 hours in them.
Yeah.
You need to...
And like there's a type of Pokemon thing that if you kill it in the first one, you get like a ridiculous amount of experience. So you learn pretty early on, like, oh, if I want to level up faster, keep up with this game, I got to go kill those things specifically.
Yeah.
And they're kind of
hard.
They're kind of harder to find. They're not hard to kill, but they will run away. Like, so like you'll be in the middle of a battle, and like I said, there's 3, so there's 2 other things that could get in your way, and then they'll like hobble off, and nothing kills you more than when one runs away, because you're just like, it's the difference between like a battle ends, you get like 300 experience, or a battle ends and you get 8,000 experience. Like these things give you a ridiculous amount of
way to kind of keep the power system.
Yeah. I'm back to the first one now, but like there's a point where you ride a dragon, like it flies you around, because like the map gets so huge that like you have to fly. But like you also have a boat that you ride on and do like boat shit on, and
I'm definitely gonna check it out. That sounds fun.
Super fun. Yeah. Oh, that is my video game section. There is another video game I'm playing, but I'm gonna save it for a different time because No Kuni took quite a bit of time, and
I I also have another video game that I'm gonna save for another time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you could if you wanted to, but
Well, because I wasn't gonna mention it because it's technically not new nerd shit for me because I've played this game before, but I've recently started to get back into it.
That's fun though.
Yeah.
I did that with Harry Potter that one episode. So
Yeah. I still haven't finished that.
Harry Potter.
Oh, Hogwarts Legacy. I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, not that.
Not that Harry Potter.
I just the one time when I was rereading the book.
Oh, the books. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I haven't either.
My mind was
I've been
on video game.
way too busy with other games to play Harry Potter, but I'm gonna get back to that for sure.
Eventually.
But yeah. So, did you have any other video games you want to shit about?
No, not right now.
Okay.
Not currently.
So we can move on to. Let's go to TV shows. You said you didn't have any.
Not really. Maybe one, but if you have one, I would start with that.
Okay, I have two.
Okay.
One I have a lot to say about, so I'll just do a quick one on the first one so I can get into the second. But one of the shows I started watching was My Adventures with Superman. It's the new Superman anime series that it's called. It's anime, but it's totally an American show, but they call it an anime.
Yeah.
It's on Adult Swim.
Inspired.
It's definitely anime, like it's drawn like anime for sure. But it's on Adult Swim, so it's on Max.
That's something I'd like to see.
It's not bad. So I've only watched 4. I think there's 6 episodes out total. Yeah, it's a cool, refreshing new take on Superman. Same story, but it's like, modern day. The guy that plays Superman is Huey from The Boys. So he voices Clark and Superman. So
Love The Boys.
A nice voice for Superman. Definitely fitting. And it's basically him, Lois, and I always forget his friend's name.
Clark's friend or Lois's friend?
Clark's friend. He's from the comics too, but like he's in this series. Can't remember his name. We'll just call him Clark's buddy. For
Is he
now.
a journalist?
Yes. Yeah.
Jimmy something?
Yes, it's Jimmy Olsen.
Jimmy Olsen, yeah.
So, and they're like interns at the Daily Planet. And
not that big of a Superman fan.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. Thank you. Lois has worked there for like a year or something interning, so Clark and Jimmy are new. And their dynamic's really fun, like to watch them like solve mysteries, and Clark runs away. Like for some reason Clark has to disappear, and like the world's finding out about Superman.
So they don't know about Superman.
They don't know about Superman until the first episode, and then Lois is like, "We have to find that Superman," and then the name, it's the origin of Superman, and it's villain of the week right now. Like there's a story that plays throughout each episode, but that connects them. But like usually it's just like, this villain escaped from here, and Superman has to fight this villain, and you know how these kind of shows start. But it's a really good opening, and I don't know. I'm excited to watch more of it. It's, like I said, it's 4 episodes or 6 episodes. I'm 4 in.
What is the animation like? Is it? Because I'm thinking, I don't know why, but I'm thinking right now like Invincible. Like, have you seen that?
Yeah. Maybe kind of like Invincible.
Like how adult is it?
A little crisper. It's not really all that adult. It's not super kid either, but I haven't seen anything like graphic or anything.
Super Kid's not in this.
Super Kid's not in. No,
Yeah.
it's like I said, it's on Adult Swim, but it's not like crazy graphic like that show like Invincible is. But I don't know. There's innuendos and shit. Like I think there was an episode the other day where Clark and Lois were at this like fancy party, and they had to like. Clark got his coat ripped, so he had to take it off, and they were just checking out each other's bodies. Not like naked bodies, but like, you know what I mean? For a kid, that's a weird thing to have to watch.
Something sexual.
And my only gripe with the show, even though I like the characters, I think the Lois character, the Clark character, the Jimmy character is good. There's almost this like forced romantic story between Lois and Clark. Like immediately they're into each other. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you didn't know that, like, they're
don't really believe the chemistry.
I don't. It feels a little forced at times, but it also feels like a kid show version of it. So I don't really know. In the 4 episodes I've watched, like it's there. It's much in the forefront, but it feels a little forced. Other than that, though, whatever. Totally recommend it. If you want to get into a fun little Superman story.
What's it on?
Max.
Oh, okay.
Or Adult Swim. I think it airs every Thursday night. Yeah. Not too far in. The last episode I watched, Lois found out that Clark was Superman, so I'm very interested to see where that travels, but I wanted to watch more of it before today, but did not.
Jimmy still doesn't know.
Jimmy doesn't know. Jimmy and Clark are like buddies. Like, they room together. Like, first episode starts with like Clark fucking smashing his alarm when he wakes up because it's his first day, and he's Superman, so he breaks it when he breaks the sink or some shit, and Jimmy's just like, Clark.
Didn't Jimmy Olsen in the like the Henry Cavill Superman stuff,
got shot in the head?
Yeah, he died. Like, he wasn't that important of a character.
He maybe got 2 minutes on that whole series.
Like, he's dead. We're not worrying about him.
He's a
anymore.
main character and a likable character in this one.
Well, good. I'm glad. Yeah, because I don't have many.
Which he usually is.
I don't have many experiences with that character, but
he's known as like Clark's best friend. Not if you watch the Snyderverse, though.
Yeah,
he's known as some guy that got shot in the head.
Didn't he also wasn't he also like into Lois or something?
No, I don't think so. That's the thing. There wasn't enough of him for me to make that assumption. He's in one scene at the beginning of Batman vs. Superman.
Just to stop fans from asking where he is.
Yep.
Where's Jimmy Olsen? He is dead. He was shot in the head. Yeah.
In the head.
We're not worrying about him anymore.
Fucking capped at the start. Moving on. Yeah, no. Totally main character. Definitely, somebody that Clark has to get away from when he wants to be Superman.
Yeah.
Kind of vibe in this show, but fun.
He just thinks he's just like a quirky, strong guy.
Yeah, basically. Because, it's still like Clark is still this fucking jacked dude. Like,
yeah.
Whether he's in his Superman costume or not, you'd be like, that's a big dude.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with that 20-year-old. Holy
Probably
shit.
Break a sink accidentally.
Definitely. So, that's a little one.
What's the other one?
Much bigger one that I want to talk about. I'm sure I've shared with you that I'm a
virgin.
No. No, I'm gonna be a dad in 4 months.
DNA proof.
Okay, yeah. I'm a big Digimon fan, so which is essentially the same thing.
Yeah, so I was right.
I'm a big Digimon fan. Super big. Have we talked about Digimon?
I love Digimon. I haven't seen a lot of it, but all that I've seen I always was into.
Digimon is a big part of my childhood
Digimon,
into adulthood. Oh wow. Yeah. Well, you tried. You and music, they just don't blend very well.
Yeah. I don't know.
I love Digimon. And I should probably start with the news. So the news about Digimon right now that got me down this road is the original Digimon movie from 2000 for us in America. When it came out, love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. But what it is 3 Digimon shorts that came out in Japan that America stitched together to make one movie.
Yeah, it made it amazing.
It made it amazing, but changed it. So like these people announced like, oh, we're redoing those original 3 movies. We got basically the entire original dub cast back to do it. And also, you can just have the Digimon movie, like a package of like the 3 separate ones re-recorded and the original Digimon movie all on one Blu-ray. So I was pumped about that.
Yeah.
And then they also announced so like 5 years ago, they came out with a Digimon movie with the main kids as like adults. And it was like their last story from the first season. Yeah. To celebrate like 20 years.
Like a iCarly situation.
Kind of like that.
Or like a Zoe 101 situation.
Kind of like that.
Bring the adult actors back for nostalgia.
And it's a good little like hour and a half, 40-minute movie. But they announced that they're doing the same thing with the season 2 cast of Digimon. So like those kids. With the same voice actors again, because they got them back for the Digimon movie re-recording. So I'm pumped to see this like what's their now adult story gonna be like.
Oh, that's awesome.
So because of that, I got like reminded of my love for Digimon. So I wanted to like kind of look into something Digimon that I hadn't checked out. And back when that last movie came out, what they also did was they essentially rebooted the original series with the original kids.
Yeah.
They made a new anime of those same kids. Dressed them in, they have like different clothes, some of them. Like ties look the same, but they're different looking at the same time. So it's a reboot of them. And I didn't watch it when it first came out because I was like, I'm very close with the original series. Like I didn't
feel like you're cheating.
I just didn't want to watch those same kids do something different.
Yeah.
So I didn't. But then it got dubbed, and I heard the dub had recently come out, and it was on Hulu. And I was in this Digimon mode, and I was like, okay, usually I don't do very well. Whole new voice cast for this new show. And that doesn't work with me usually.
Yeah.
But because it's all new all new voice actors for every character, and it's also like a different universe and a different takes on these characters.
Yeah, completely different timeline. Or
I was able to be like, I can accept that their voices are different. Now, if they would have made that new movie a couple years ago and Ty had a different voice actor, I'd be like, can't listen to this.
Can't do it.
But because it's a different universe, I thought, let's take a stroll and watch some of this.
Let's give it a chance.
2020. It's called Digimon Adventure 2020, essentially. I'm about 11 episodes in, and I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. It's a fine little series.
What are you watching this on?
Hulu.
Oh, okay. So I can watch it.
They got the whole series on Hulu, 60-something episodes, so even more than the original first season of Digimon. It's paced a little odd. Like, it's very fat. Like,
It's very fat.
Fast.
Oh.
Sorry. We're 11 episodes in, and on this episode, I think 10 episodes in, Greymon digivolves into Metal Greymon, which I was just like, wow, that is like... It's like they just did like 6 episodes of like a character meets their Digimon, a Digimon. Where like the first series, like they all get together at once, like they meet kids along the way in this series.
It's a slow build up to.
It's just done differently. The one thing I did like it though is the first 3 episodes kind of tell its own story to set up the series to come. And what I liked about it is, I don't know, have you seen the Digimon movie?
Yes. I used to watch it all the time.
So there's the middle story called Our War Game, where they fight like the virus online, and Matt and Ty get into the computers and they make Omnimon.
Yeah.
They kind of do that in the first 3 episodes of this show. Like there's a cyber attack. They learn about Digimon. Ty enters like the internet world, and he meets Agumon, and it digivolves him into Greymon, and Matt's already in the world, so they don't even know each other, but they meet in here and they fight the virus. And they beat it like 5 or 6 times, but it digivolves every time. So they get straight to mega level enemy in this like the second episode of this thing.
That is pretty quick.
And it's like a retelling, like I said, of that movie. War Greymon doesn't show up, Metal Garurumon doesn't show up, but for some reason, Greymon and Garurumon just form together and they make Omnimon. So in the second episode, like Omnimon's there, and by the third he like kills the bad guy. So you're like, wow, this starts huge.
Yeah.
So it starts big, and then like they save the day, some time passes, and then they all get sucked into the Digi world later. And it just slows back down from there, which is good. It goes back. Agumon has to evolve into Greymon again. Everybody meets their Digimon. Yeah. So, like, even though I'm 11 episodes in, I still feel like I'm just kind of starting with it, even though things are happening very fast.
A lot of plot developments have happened.
Yeah. The scripting's not bad. The animation, they made it look like the old show. Like, it looks aesthetically the same as the old show.
Like crisper.
But crisper, and the animation flows nicer because it's newer animation. So, I think where it lacks compared to the... Because I haven't seen anything like... One of my favorite things about Digimon is... It was always a series that, even though it was a kid's show and it was for kids, it kind of treated kids the way you're supposed to, like, treat kids.
Yeah.
Like, they wrote those...
coddle them.
They wrote the script in a way that it was like, this is about kids growing up. Yeah. And we're going to show you... Like, I was just telling Miranda about how, like, Matt and TK's whole storyline has, like, a background of, like, their parents got a divorce when they were young and separated them, and they're dealing with that shit. And like Izzy's parents died in a car accident and he's adopted, and his parents that he has now, he just overheard them talking about that, and like he's dealing with that shit, and it's just like really deep of a fucking show.
That was always the best core of Digimon, is that it's not just about fighting monsters.
No.
It's also about fighting personal
Sure.
monsters.
And every time a Digimon digivolved in the show, it was always like because the main character has overcome some type of personal barrier in their life. I haven't quite seen that in the new one. And I think there's been allusions to some issues with the characters. But if you didn't watch the show, like the original show, to know their backstories already, you might not know what the fuck's going on with them in this new one.
Right.
I think it's a show for the people that have watched the old one. but also could deter the people because, like me, could have been like, I don't want to watch this.
Bold move, certainly.
Yeah. So I'm going to keep giving it some more episodes because I thought I'd get through the whole first arc before we'd get to this, but I don't really know what the arc is yet. So I don't know. But I like Digimon stuff, and
I'll check it out. I didn't know it was going on.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten
it's completed. It's done, but yeah, you can watch the whole thing on Hulu. Even the old series is on Hulu. The original first season of Digimon, which holds up. I watched an episode of that recently too.
I think Digimon is a neglected IP.
For sure.
Where Hollywood's trying to recycle every IP that it can right now, so they don't have to make anything new.
Dude.
And I feel like there's some untapped potential with Digimon. I feel like they underestimate how many people actually like Digimon.
I agree with you. I also have been preaching since the day I walked out of the original Transformers movie in 2007. I said, man, they should make a live action Digimon movie.
Yeah, they made a live action Pokemon movie and it was pretty good.
I think if you do it right, unlike how I have any faith in adapting a live action One Piece, I think a Digimon, because it's like Transformers, you can make it work. You can play around with the story and the characters and still make some cool fucking looking live action Digimon.
Yeah.
I don't know how you go about like one of the big things about Digimon is kind of like Voltron. Every time Voltron forms, like there's always a scene in the episode of Voltron forming.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's always, they take away from the episode to show them Digivolve. What I like about this new show is like they'll do one Digimon in the episode and the rest of them will just like Digivolve off screen or like
just fuck off.
Just Digivolve and it's quick. So whereas the other show, like if they could kill 5 minutes with just having everybody's individually Digivolve, they would kill 5 minutes doing that. And I don't think you should do that in a live action one. But I also don't think you skip that either. Like maybe show it for like one.
It's a spectacle.
It is a It's part of the
same thing with Transformers of how I want to see them transforming.
Mm-hmm. You want to see the Digimon Digivolve. And there are 2 live actions I really think should be made. One of them is Digimon. The other one is based on a dream I had, but it's The Land Before Time, the original one. I think they should...
live action Land Before Time?
The first one. Not any of the ones where they sing, but a live action...
They could definitely do it.
Retelling the first one. I had a dream that I was seeing it, and I woke up and I was like, I wish that was a fucking thing.
I think that would be better than when they made the live action Lion King.
Sure. Yeah, I think so too.
It's already... it's not... I don't know. I feel like dinosaurs are a lot easier to see in animation because we don't actually know what they look like.
Yeah.
We know what lions look like.
Yeah.
We can make a very educated guess on what dinosaurs look like, but it's not like gonna freak us out too much like Uncanny Valley seeing these dinosaurs talk to each other because the only renditions we see of dinosaurs is in media.
Right. So they might as well be talking. Yeah. I think I don't know. There's no news on it, but I don't think we're too far off from hearing something like that. Digimon, that's a tough one because, like you said, I feel like it's kind of in a bubble. Either people liked it and watched it when they were a kid, or didn't. And there's nothing new with it now. Anything that comes out, at least in America, about Digimon, people like us that liked it.
I feel like it kind of gets compared to Pokemon a lot because it is like a
came out at the same time.
Yeah, it's like a kind of a copy of the trend, They both have Mon in their last name, and it's about collecting certain things, but it's different enough and like has its own style and ways of doing things.
To me has always been just very different than Pokemon.
Yeah,
even though I'm a big Pokemon guy, You know this.
Yeah, I
always liked Digimon more. Even when I was a kid, there was a point in like the 7th grade where I gave up on Pokemon. I was like, I'm done. I'm too old to be playing Pokemon. I would still be like, oh, I like Digimon.
I've had more...
The anime is just so good.
I've had more experience and interactions with Pokemon just because it's a much bigger thing than Digimon is.
It engrosses more aspects of your life than Digimon.
Right, but I would definitely say I find Digimon more appealing in a lot of ways than Pokemon.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. Like if Digimon had the same type of like card game and video games, not that it doesn't have those things, but Pokemon just nailed all those levels. So Pokemon can have every aspect of your life. Digimon to me will forever be like this show that I was fucking into as a kid, and to this day will divulge.
Yeah.
And
I watched the original, just the first season, not too long ago. It was probably a couple years ago. It was like I hadn't like watched it as an adult.
yeah,
I was really into it.
yeah, it holds up. I watch certain episodes from it every once in a while. Ever since they put it on Hulu, I'll just go.
I've also never seen like the full story arc because I watched it like how we all watched it back then on cable, where it was just like whatever episode was on at the time.
Well,
you watched.
I guess. Yeah. I mean, I followed the story of it because it was a Saturday morning cartoon, so it was on. Yeah, if you watch it throughout the week, it would just be a random episode, but every Saturday was like the next episode of the story. But I was also a few years older. And then season 2 is like a continuation of that story because it's called, in Japan, it's called Digimon Adventure, Digimon Adventure 2. They did Digimon Adventure Try in like 2015, 16.
Can't say 3.
I don't know why. I actually liked it when it started. It's not bad. They got a lot of the voice cast back for the dub of that. It's fine. When it came out, I was stoked because it was like the first new Digimon content with those characters in ever.
We'll just sleep on Digimon.
People sleep on Digimon, and I'm not one of them. I'm hoping to have a Digimon game to talk about by the next time we podcast. I'm gonna probably keep this feeling alive.
There's a YouTuber that I like. Have you ever heard of Curtis Connor?
I don't think so. It sounds like a
he makes
UFC fighter.
He makes like funny videos on YouTube. He's not a UFC fighter, but he did a whole thing where like he did a whole episode about like card collecting and like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering cards and stuff, and how like he's always kind of wanted to get into that hobby, but he never like really identified much with like the big card collecting community IPs like Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, all that stuff. But he got really into, he said like the thing he always liked the most was Digimon, and so he got really into Digimon card collecting.
Digimon cards are pretty sick.
Yeah,
I do like them.
He's like, I think I like this a lot more, so I'm going to like get into it. And so he has like a whole thing now of like him.
I'd have to check that out.
Buying Digimon cards and stuff.
I love going through my Digimon cards.
Yeah,
they are cool fucking cards.
Yeah, he has pulled a few good ones.
Yeah. God, I'd love to buy a new pack of Digimon cards. I haven't bought a pack. I bought packs of Pokemon cards in the past year, but I don't.
Speaking of cards, did you hear the Post Malone thing?
I did. He bought the freaking One Ring.
One Ring for $2.6 million.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
When I heard about it, I was like, we got to talk about it on the podcast because we just.
I saw the video of the guy who pulled it because he recorded himself when he pulled it in his hand. It's in like a sleeve already and stuff.
Yeah.
And like his hand is literally shaking.
Fuck, I bet, dude. There's one in the world. He knew he was a millionaire at that point.
Yeah, because he's you could tell like how much adrenaline was pumping through his body as he was showing it.
I'll tell you this, dude. If I would have got that card, I wouldn't have sold it.
It's probably just gonna get more valuable.
Probably. I mean, I get why he sold it, but for me, I don't know if I'd ever sell it.
Yeah.
Just knowing that I have it. That's the kind of person I am. But to buy one of those packs that had like the ones that had the chance to get that card, they were fucking like $200 a pack.
Yeah.
So I don't even play Magic the Gathering. I was never going to spend that. I got my thing. I got out.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with Magic the Gathering. It's so expensive to get into. I have friends who are really into it. And I do think playing it is fun when I understand the rules.
I've played it from time to time. I think card games, that's the thing. Card games are fucking fun. I'm glad I got out of them by like 9th grade.
They're such an expensive hobby.
They're fun and expensive. And I hold myself back from getting into card games now because I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I know what I'll do.
That's how they get you.
Do.
Just think it's a baller move from the company to be like, yeah, this card is worth a lot because we say it is.
Dude.
Because we're only making one and it's going to be worth a fuck ton.
And that's enough to get people going.
Yeah.
Dude, there was literally a point in my life. I was in 8th grade. And I had this thought. I thought truly, I was like, I don't think there'll ever be a day we're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, because I had been playing them for 3 years in my life. But in that point in time, I was like, we've been just going over to each other's houses and playing Yu-Gi-Oh for 3 years.
This is forever.
I truly believe that. I truly was like, we're going to be doing this forever. Things changed. But I was like, there won't be a day that I go to Josh and Ryan's house and we don't play with our Yu-Gi-Oh cards. That's how into Yu-Gi-Oh I was.
Yeah. And then you grew up,
I guess a little bit. My body sure did.
did a job.
I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but I mean, I essentially still do all the other shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Pokemon, the video games in general. Yeah. So, so those are my TV show talks.
Those are great TV
Those
show
are great TV show
recommendations.
talks. Now we can get into movies.
Right.
Have you seen any new movies other than what we've seen together?
Other than what? No, I haven't. Have you?
I have a few I want to talk
Because
about.
I haven't been watching movies and TV much recently.
Man, I don't want to feel like I'm talking too much on this episode.
I think it's fine.
Okay. Well, we'll start with, I have to have a follow-up from the last time we talked about this. So the Zoe 102 movie
How was that?
did come out. It was, for me, personally,
Okay.
and everybody I watched it with, a charm. Just a great.
Good?
We liked it quite a bit. Now, I have seen mixed reactions on the internet. I've seen people that have liked it. I saw a video the other day. I was just scrolling through YouTube, and it was just called "This Is What's Wrong with Zoe 102," and it was a 30-minute YouTube video. I was like, somebody watched this fucking Nickelodeon ass movie and went, I'm gonna talk about it for
30 minutes.
I'm gonna call it out for 30 minutes.
How bad it is.
Like, okay.
Well, it got us the reaction.
It sure did. And so me, Miranda, and Brent, the night Brent came over was the night that dropped. So I texted him. I was like, dude, just letting you know, when you get here, we're going to be
watching the Zoe 102 movie.
He was like, oh, okay. Like, and he sat down and he was like, before we started, he was like, I'm expecting a 7, a solid 7.
It's optimistic.
And I was like, yeah, that's all I want from a Zoe 102 movie, is for it to be a 7. By the time the movie ended, Brent turned to me and was like, I know I said I expected it to be a solid 7. I'm going to give it a 9. It was a 9.5 at one point in the movie. He cried from laughing twice.
Jokes were that good.
I don't know if the jokes were that good. It was a funny fucking movie.
Yeah.
We laughed from situational humor. Like the jokes were funny, but like the situations, Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And it's not so much. It doesn't feel like Nickelodeon because like they're adults, they're drinking. They grew up with us. It's a very like adult movie.
I'm about sex.
I don't know if anybody literally talks about sex. There's no sex
They
in
should
it.
add sex.
There's none.
Probably why
there's no
there's
sex
mixed
in it.
reactions, because they didn't add sex.
No, there would have been no reason for anybody to have sex in this movie.
I thought there was a whole romantic thing with Chase and Zoe.
Well, we'll get there.
So Chase doesn't blow Zoe's back out in the movie. Why am I even gonna try and watch it then?
Listen, man, I'm sure if you go on Google and look for that somewhere, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. But in this,
I know I would.
In this,
I want to see it in the Zoe.
Well, the story's very interesting because it takes place like all these years later, and the premise became that. So at the end of Zoe 101, Chase and Zoe get together, and they're supposed to go to Hawaii and spend summer together because Zoe's going to like work for her uncle or something, and Chase is gonna go with her. But apparently Zoe fucking dipped on that trip and left him hanging, and he fucking hates her and hasn't talked to her in 10 years. And they go to the wedding, and they have to see each other again.
He's like, I fucking hate you.
Zoe's like tried to talk to him on like Instagram or something, and he just won't respond to her. And it's just kind of funny because you're also thinking like, this is 2023, and they like broke up in 2010 when they were in high school. And,
right, and they're still thinking about 13 years later.
You go along with it. It's whatever, and that's kind of the premise of like the Zoe and Chase dynamic in it, is like he hates her and for ditching him. You don't really know that through like later in the movie. There's finally like you see that they don't talk. You get that they didn't stay together. You're not really sure what happened, and then Chase has like a heart with her, and you finally get that. So that was good. But like I said, it's just funny as fuck. There was this part where they went and sang karaoke, and we were all just dying in here. It was so fucking funny. Like the things that it shocks you, it surprise you. I mean, the scene starts out with Michael. He's singing Limp Bizkit. So he's rolling. It's just like fucking crazy, man. they make up this story about PCA about how like the school got shut down and it turned out to not be a real school and like they had been like harboring money. So a lot of people like got turned off by that joke because they're like, what do they mean it's not? But like I'm like, it's just an off the cuff joke of
also like a beach school, boarding school, weird.
Yeah.
It definitely sounded like a scam.
yeah. So like it was a whatever line. They end up going back to it at the end to like have the wedding at, but like for a movie that's like the follow up on this show, it didn't need to exist. I'm glad it exists, and it's kind of fun. It's cool seeing them older. Of course, Chase and Zoe end up together by the end of it.
Right, and blows her back out.
Maybe later. There's a
It's
whole
implied.
subplot with the guy that Zoe hires to play her boyfriend to go to the wedding with. Hysterical. He's a great character. Super funny, and the way his story ends, it's how the movie ends, and it is the second time that Brent laughed until he cried. And we were all just like, what the fuck is, because it's also like a what the fuck kind of ending.
I'll definitely have to check it out.
Check it out. It's an hour and 40. It's very, if you just let it be what it is, it's a very pleasant and surprisingly funny little movie.
As long as it makes me laugh.
I think it certainly will. It had us pretty ecstatic and elated throughout all of it. So that's my first movie.
Was that the only movie?
No.
What's the other?
So the other movie, just last night, Miranda and I saw the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, you wanted to surprise me with this.
I did want to surprise you with this.
And I am surprised.
You're super surprised?
So surprised.
So surprised. Yeah.
Do tell about that.
I'm going to tell you about that, but after a message from our sponsors, because I want to grab something and show you.
So we are sponsored by Skillshare. If you want to improve your skills, like any, I don't really know what kind of skills they have on there, to be honest, but like any kind of skills you can think of, just go to Skillshare and subscribe to them and give us a donation in return, like a $10 donation if you go and subscribe to Skillshare.
That's Skillshare.com/nerdshitinthedark.
Yes.
So I got this when I went to the movie last night. It's a popcorn thing. People can't really see it.
Looks like a fat lightsaber.
It's like oh, there's booze in here, you know. It's like a hazmat thing. This is not in the movie. I'm really far from here. Hopefully it's still picking me up, but it's a popcorn thing. I thought it was really cool. So we got there at the theater and we're getting our shit and we're ordering our popcorn and they're getting it ready, and I turn and I just see these sitting. I thought it was a drink. I thought it was the drink.
It looks like a giant.
I'm gonna use it to drink out of. Yeah, but and immediately my face is like, oh, like, and the lady doing the popcorn, she sees me and she just goes, "Do you want the popcorn?" And I was just like, "It's popcorn!" Like I felt like a little kid. I literally turned to Miranda and I was like,
"I see a sucker. Yeah. I see a sucker for this merchandise right now."
Dude, I'm a sucker. Everything with Du Bois Theater, because they have some fun shit.
Du Bois Theater is a very movie theater.
I have so many fucking cups from Du Bois Theater in this house. It's ridiculous, and we don't have room for them, but we keep all of them because they're cool.
Yeah.
And now there's this thing. Who the fuck knows where this is gonna go? But I'm not even the huge
a few uses for
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, well, I did grow up in the 90s, so give me that shit.
Yeah. So the thing I mentioned...
There's some popcorn in it. I'm going to have a little.
Go for it. The thing I mentioned earlier is that when I saw the trailers for it, it reminded me a lot of Into the Spider-Verse. Like, it's kind of like copying its style a little bit.
So what I'll say to that is... I feel like the direction of animation has taken a turn to kind of like the style of Spider-Verse.
It did so well.
But people are playing with it and they're kind of doing their own thing with it.
Yeah.
Much like animation has to be. And I did like it has influence from Spider-Verse for sure, but it's certainly its own type of animation, especially when you watch the movie. Like I was saying to Miranda that like the way like smoke comes out of vehicles and shit, that's very interesting. Human characters, it's funny, like the mutant characters kind of look normal to you because like anybody who's a human is just so fucking, they're weird looking. Like other than like the main
stylized.
Ones, very weird looking. So I just thought that was an interesting aesthetic that they chose to go with. But it works because like there's a lot of action fight scenes and kind of like with Spider-Verse, it flows. They do this one scene where it's them fighting all these dudes. They're standing all back to back to back with each other, and the scene is changing as it like circles around them because they're fighting in like 5 different locations. But the battle sequence is the same. It's a really cool little clip. They're just kicking the shit out of the people as it like changes from a certain room to a different like man or wherever they're fighting at. That was a cool scene. It's like playing like 90s fucking rap music in the background, kind of. It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
All the they feel like teenagers too, which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah, because I feel like in my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles thing, the movie was the one from the 90s.
Okay.
Whether, you've seen that one.
Yeah, the live action one.
Yeah, the live action one.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And they definitely seem just like crazy adults.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to like the animated, because even the live action, like newer ones, they're kind of like adults, at least like people in their 20s. The animated ones kind of always have them as teenagers. But the weird thing is they're always teenagers of their generation.
Yeah.
So like my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of goes around with like what ones I was watching when I was a teenager or even younger. Like I can believe Cowabunga is something that Mikey would say in the 80s when that show came out.
Right.
And like I like the early 2000s Teenage Mutant Ninja. That was one that I got really into, and they sound like teenagers from then. This one does that. And
teenagers from 2020.
It takes me out of it a little, which that's my only like I get.
They
people,
talk about TikTok.
It makes it. Oh, dude, that's another thing. I did have like I see that this movie has a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes. I'd give it more in the 80s. I didn't think it was a perfect movie. It was fun, but it definitely wasn't like the best movie I had ever seen.
Dates itself a little.
Like there's a part where they're talking. Like there's a lot of references. There's a part where, Donatello's talking, and he's got like a. They're voiced by teenagers, and he's got like a real like hasn't got a deep voice yet voice actor, and it works for him. But he's talking about how Mark Ruffalo improv scenes, like that scene from Avengers Endgame when he's the Hulk and people knew him as a monster, but like he saved the world, so they take pictures with him in a bar. Like that's a whole line that they say in the movie, and I'm just like, oh, like they reference like real life things and real life people and real life movies, almost a little too much to the point that it's like. This is too much.
Remember that? Yeah.
But I'm also like, well, it's a kid's movie too. So like, do kids really care? Do kids actually think that's a cool line to hear when they bring up
Probably.
Avengers Endgame? Because to me, I was like, or like, one of like the main reasons they beat the bad guys because Donatello is also a big Attack on Titan fan, and he's just like an Attack on Titan, we gotta get their necks. And
I saw
was
Donatello was also wearing a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure shirt.
He has a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure hoodie that he wears.
So he's very into anime.
He is very into anime, and they talk about that. Like, I liked it a lot. But there was a bit too much points to like the real world.
Right. And that might just be because you're older.
And they literally go they go to a movie theater or at one point, or like a drive-in, and they're watching Ferris Bueller. It's not animated. It's literally just Ferris Bueller. Like there's lots of scenes of like real life people doing real life shit. And they're just characters in it.
That sounds fun though.
It is fun. I like I said, even though it was a bit much, I still like the movie overall.
The fight scene's good.
The fight scenes are pretty good. There's not as many as I would have liked. They introduced like a lot of like OG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bad guys, but they only like really use them for one quick fight scene, and then almost all of them join the Turtles at the end to fight like the main bad.
Are Rocksteady and Bebop in it?
They are in it.
Good.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure. I know Seth Rogen voiced Bebop, but I think John Cena voiced Rocksteady, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and Paul Rudd voices all those characters are really cool. So I was kind of glad to see them become good guys by the end of it. Total twist. But Ice Cube
Spoilers.
voices Superfly. Yeah, super spoilers on that. Sorry, everybody. And he's the main villain that they have to fight. And Ice Cube's he comes pretty late in the movie, but like he kind of steals the show. Like he's a fun character. He says most of the funny lines because
he hasn't done a lot of voice acting.
No, so he definitely worked like with this character, and yeah, I liked it. Like I said, I don't think it's a 96. I heard they're making a second movie and they're doing a series on Paramount Plus. I would fuck with the series of these characters.
Yeah.
They could get all those voice actors to do it again. If Seth Rogen's gonna be involved, because he like produced it. Before the movie, he came up on the screen and was like, "Thank you for coming and watching this movie." He didn't actually, but he did. He didn't laugh though. But
he didn't do the Seth Rogen
he
laugh.
didn't do the Seth Rogen laugh. He just thanked us for coming to see the movie.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was fun. There was nothing in it that like touched me. It didn't give me that How to Train Your Dragon kind of feel, but I guess it didn't need to.
Not a big emotional.
No, there's like emotional beats. Like Splinter is like a total dad in this movie. Like he's a karate. He knows karate, but you wouldn't see him throughout the movie as like karate master Splinter. Like he's their dad through most of it, and then at the end he like shows up and does karate. Like he taught them. It shows them being taught by him, but he's not like, until he went to fight, I was like, can this Master Splinter fight people?
Seems very old.
Yeah, and he's such a dad. And there's a scene where it shows him all his kids, and he's like a younger rat man. And he just looked, I don't know, he had this look of just like a believable in his 30s, like guy from the 70s dad. So that was fun. Hour 40, we were in the hottest movie theater that ever existed.
Yeah, you almost died watching.
It was so hot, I was sweating. If it was a cooler experience, I might have had a little bit better of a time. I had a good enough time. Like I said, I'd give it more of an 80 something. It's sitting at like 96 and people are like shitting their pants about it.
Right.
I think it's really good. I wouldn't shit my pants about it. It also has the best Rotten Tomatoes score of any of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies by like a landslide.
I can believe that.
So that's good. So things are looking good for the Turtles.
One in the 90s definitely wasn't getting a 96.
Iconic.
Great.
But yeah, probably doesn't hold up. To newer people, I would watch it still.
I think it would hold up if I watched it again.
I agree.
That's also, I have nostalgia for it.
Yeah. So. And it's got a post-credit scene, a mid-credit scene, which we almost died waiting for that because like it was already time to go because it was so hot. But so they set up for, more to come.
You're in the late stages of dehydration and heat exhaustion at that point.
It was crazy, man. I haven't felt like that in a long time. There was literally a point during the movie where I was like, am I dying? Like, is this what dying feels like? You just get really warm? Because usually in the Du Bois Theater, I'm freezing my nuts off.
Must have been broken.
I guess. So, those are my movies. You said you didn't have any.
No, I started watching Guardians 3.
Oh.
And was really into it.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching it with my nephew, and he got really freaked out at the scene when, what's his face, Adam
Warlock.
Adam Warlock comes in and starts fighting them. He doesn't really like
Adam Levine.
He doesn't really like violence. Like, he's not at that stage of
pussy.
Of finding that entertaining. So whenever like someone got hurt, he would like start to freak out. So we had to turn it off. But I do plan on going back and watching it because I did enjoy the parts that I saw.
Yeah, it's a long movie. It's a long movie.
Yeah.
But it's
watch
really
probably
good.
the first 20 minutes, half hour.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, it doesn't even really start getting into it that long into the movie. Yeah, finish it, man. I don't want to talk too much about it here since you haven't really gotten far, but it's my least favorite of the 3 Guardians movie, but only because one of them has to be.
Right.
It just didn't emotionally resonate with me.
I've also
as
heard
well.
other people saying this is their favorite.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. There's a fight scene at the end of that's just so well choreographed and awesome. It kind of in itself makes me like almost make it my second favorite of the Guardians movies. It's funny.
I probably rank Guardians 2 at the bottom.
Oh, really? Guardians 2 is my favorite. Go 2, 1, 3 now.
I don't know what it was about 2 that I wasn't as into with the first one, but I ranked it lower than the first one when
I like the first one a lot. 2 hit me on an emotional level. Usually that's what makes a movie really favorite to me, if it makes me cry. The second one made me cry quite a bit at the end.
I don't cry at movies because I'm not a pussy. But
no, you are, though. You don't cry because you don't care. Or you're probably falling asleep or...
Yeah, I do have a
thinking about TikTok or something stupid.
I'm not on TikTok. I do have a tendency to fall asleep in movie theaters, though. I have found that out.
Yeah, me too. I have found that out about you as well. To the point that I watch you sometimes. I look.
And I know you're looking at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god, they're gonna see.
Yeah. Not when you're asleep, you don't know because you're asleep.
Sometimes I'm just tired. Yeah, I slept through probably half of the new Transformers movie.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah,
That movie
like
fucking
I said,
sucked.
I woke up when
But
I
it's
heard
good.
action.
You are awake when they're good. Well, I checked on you during the Flash, but you were in it. You were awake.
I was awake the whole time during the Flash.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Flash.
But dude, we haven't really got a chance to talk much since we saw what I am saying is one of my favorite movies and one of the most probably the most pleasantly surprised I've been from a movie since Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I don't think a movie's hit me quite like Spider-Verse.
I would agree with you as well.
Since
What movie are we talking about?
since we saw the Barbie movie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a fantastic movie. I have told multiple people if I wasn't laughing during this movie, I was cheesing like a fool, waiting for when I was gonna laugh next.
Yeah.
Because they had me.
Because it is just like from beginning to end, you're laughing,
Mm-hmm.
but also interspersed throughout, there's like genuinely like heartfelt moments where it's like it's also still lighthearted in a way, but also
Yeah.
very deep. Because like even during like the big emotional moments, there's still some humor
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't jarring.
So tasteful.
Very tasteful.
Kind of like how Scrubs can interweave that.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
Scrubs-like style.
Mixed in with like Anchorman style humor.
Yeah,
That's
just
the only
like
thing I can
randomness
compare it to.
sometimes.
Random, stupid, funny.
Yeah,
Oh my fucking god.
very well acted. Both Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling gave a stellar performance. Some people argue that Ryan Gosling stole the show, which he did definitely in certain parts, but Margot Robbie also did a great job.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think both of them, like, he stole the show in the way that his story throughout the movie and his character is just so funny
Yeah.
and interesting that, of course, it's going to steal the show.
Don't take off the fur jacket. It's cool. It's cool.
Dude. So many just line after line of just these ridiculous things like that. Oh my god, when they started playing that Matchbox 20 song on the beach,
That was the best.
I fucking lost it, man.
It looks so
It was
serious.
so
like
fucking funny. Anytime the Kens were involved, I was laughing because it was so ridiculous. I don't even know how to put it into words.
that was one of the highlights, was the Matchbox 20 song.
Oh my god. Because it's just him on the beach singing it, and then it cuts to all of them
in a
singing
circle
it.
singing it.
Oh my god. But what I wanted to say was, like, where Margot Robbie shines is, like, there were parts of this movie that I was like, oh yeah, she's gonna win an Oscar someday.
Yeah.
For sure. Like the emotional scene near the end of the movie where she like meets who's the lady that made it, that created Barbie? What was her name?
Ruth.
Ruth. Not Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
It wasn't Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I thought it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg at first. That looked kind of like, I hadn't seen a picture of Ruth Bader Ginsburg in a while, and I was just like, oh, it's Ruth. And I'm like, oh, they filmed this when she was still alive. That makes a lot of sense. What a big surprise.
The funniest thing about that was when she first showed up in the middle of the movie, I had no idea who she was.
And I
Ruth
was very confidently.
And I turned to you. I was like, "Did I know who Ruth is?" And you were like, "I think it's Ruth Bader Ginsburg." And I was like,
genuinely thought that.
and I was just like, because I didn't know, so and it kind of looked like her a little.
Her a little bit. She said her name was Ruth.
Yes.
This is an old woman.
And I was just like,
It's
makes sense to me.
It's a movie about feminism or feminist
So
themes.
I was like, sure, why not? I
Makes sense.
totally went along with it. And then at the end of the movie, when she's like, I'm Ruth, whatever, I created Barbie, I immediately started laughing in my head because I was like, well, it's not Ruth Bader Ginsburg, that's for sure.
I thought it was for a second.
So
I thought it was like, wow, they filmed this movie before the pandemic.
yeah, I told Brent that story. He was like, he thought it was the dead, whatever
I
secretary.
thought they filmed it before she died.
Yeah. Dude, I had so little knowledge that I was just like, yeah, it makes sense to me. We have like her biography in the
total sense to
library,
me
and
at the
I
time.
thought of like her face on that book, and I was like, oh yeah, I think that is her. not her.
It wasn't Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But at the end, when Margot Robbie's talking to her in like the anime white world that it's like hollow, the way Margot Robbie acted that scene, I was just like, she could win Oscars. She will win Oscars at some point. Yeah. She plays like these ditzy characters a lot that I think makes people think that she's not that great, but like she plays those ditzy characters so well,
very well,
that you believe that she almost is till you see her not be one, and you're like, wow, this girl's got some chops. And
for sure,
both of them killed it in this movie. You can't have one without the other.
I did love the fourth wall break when she was like doing that other emotional scene and like breaking down crying.
Oh,
it was like, I'm not pretty anymore.
Right.
Just like
you shouldn't cast Margot Robbie.
Yeah, this is not believable, because everyone's thought at that point was, what are you talking about? Like, you're still very pretty.
Yeah. I laughed at that. I laughed at literally everything, dude. From the moment the movie opened to those girls playing with those doll babies, and it shows Margot Robbie's Barbie be huge, and that little girl's fucking face
to
just
give that little girl
looking
an
at her.
award just for her reactions, just for her one
face
scene, her like the way she acted. This little girl,
like, you're right.
We were cracking up
right there. I was like, I'm gonna laugh. I think through this whole movie, I knew right away that this movie had my humor from the face that girl made, and then she destroys that doll, and I'm like, I'm in it. Let's go. And it never let me down.
I don't think there was any joke that like didn't land for me. Personally,
I don't think so. I can't remember moments that I didn't laugh.
Even when I went
laughed
out,
probably more than anybody else, I think.
I had to go out and pee at one point because I drank a big liter of cola.
Yeah.
And it was during like kind of a serious part of the movie, somewhat serious. Like there's conflict, and I'm like, okay, this isn't like a funny part right now, so I'm gonna go. And then like you said when I got back that I missed like one of the funniest parts.
it immediately became what I consider to be like top 3 of the funniest parts of the movie.
And I still don't know what it is.
They did like an ad of this depressed I think it's depressed Barbie, and the way the ad played out and everything that went around it was just, I was howling. Again, I was immediately like, oh man, I wish Braden wouldn't have left for that part, because that was
I thought hysterical. I was safe. I thought for sure. This is the conflict.
But the thing is, you could still miss that funny part, and I don't think you missed out on how funny that movie was. Yeah.
I wasn't lost.
No. In the story, because that's the thing I've been telling a lot of people, because like I was talking to Kaiten about the One Piece trailer and how like I'm kind of judging it on the trailer, and I was like, if it is good though, I'll be the first to admit it, because I'll tell you what, I saw the Barbie trailers. I was not impressed. I was like, not that I thought it was going to be dog shit. I wasn't impressed. I saw the movie.
Boy, were you blown away.
It's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen.
And it's a trailer should, where it showed some good jokes, but it did not reveal what the movie was actually going to be.
The best jokes, or what? I had no idea Ken was gonna, spoiler, kind of become the villain of the movie.
Yeah, he becomes the antagonist halfway through.
Damn, yeah, like I didn't get like that they were this society of Barbies that like thought the world was run by women to only go to the real world and not figure that out. I
also loved how they like. At one point, like Margot Robbie asked them, like, well, what is Barbie Land to you? Is it like made up in someone's imagination, or is it a real place? And they're like, yes. Which is basically the movie just being like, yeah, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. And you don't.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
Because you don't
doesn't matter.
You buy into the ridiculousness of it. Oh my God. There was a point where when Barbie first starts kind of losing her mind a little, and the song, so it plays the scene at the beginning where it's a song about her and it's great and everything's wonderful, but then it goes to the next day and everything's kind of a little worse, and the song's like, I'm thinking about death. Dude, I laughed at all that. Anytime there was a song, Alan, holy fucking God, every time he was on the screen I was laughing. Even if it was a serious moment, it could just cut to him. Before he'd even speak, my brain would be like, this is going to be funny. Whatever he's going to say. Oh, my God.
They only made one Alan.
Oh, my God. They made one. Him and the pregnant Barbie.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. When they cut to her, and Ferris like, oh, my God. What are you doing there? I thought we got rid of you. And that was right after a very serious scene in the movie.
Sad pregnant Barbie was too weird.
Oh, my God. I like I said, like Spider-Verse, I went into a movie, didn't know what I was gonna get, came out more than pleasantly surprised.
We're laughing about it just now.
There's things from it that I've forgotten that you have reminded me of, and I'm laughing thinking about it again. And it's the thing, when I see a movie like this, much like Anchorman and Anchorman 2, I like to space out watching so they will always remain that funny. You don't want to overdo it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want to watch Barbie again, but I kind of want to wait a while.
It's not going to be the same as
no,
the first time,
because now I have an expectation of, I think it'll still make me laugh, but like, man, it was just hitting me. It was just fucking hitting me. When the Barbies turned into like slaves for Kens, essentially, and like all the shit they were saying, fucking ridiculous. When the one brought up the Snyderverse, like, oh my god, like it was like I was getting called out, and and that's the thing, like I was getting called out, and I was laughing at you know what I mean? I was laughing at it because it was so fucking funny.
Have you seen all the?
I've stayed away from the negativity around it.
A bunch of weird, grubby men complaining about it, being like it makes fun of men, so it's
which
bad.
Sucks because like, man,
you're kind of proving their point.
Yes, like just think it, like just come on. Yeah. Okay.
How many times have women been made fun of in media made by men?
Always.
So.
And I think it does everything in the most tasteful way. So people getting mad about it, I'm like,
it's
fuck
not,
off.
Also, it's not disparaging men. Like it's about one of the central themes is like feminism and stuff, women's empowerment or whatever. But like it also shows like feminism also helps men and includes them because like it shows like Ken doesn't have to define himself by his relationship to Barbie.
Yeah, it's doing the opposite of what those people that are bitching about are mad about in Hollywood.
Yeah, and it's because
and making a good joke about it.
It's because it's a movie targeted for women, and every movie targeted for women is gonna have.
Man, I fucking loved it.
It's gonna have those freaking trolls come out of the woodwork and be mad about it, but
yeah,
they're dumb.
They are dumb.
And again, they're dumb because they're proving the point that the movie was trying to make with patriarchy and all that.
Yeah, and it's funny, like it's real, like you know what I mean, like it's real.
That's why it's so funny is because it does hit you in real life. It's like, it's good social commentary.
Yeah, 100%. It does it flawlessly.
I highly recommend anyone.
I've been telling everybody I know.
I told my mother. I'm like, I
told my mother
because I told my parents when I was going to see the Barbie movie. They're like, "Oh, where are you going?" I'm like, "I'm going to see the Barbie movie," and my dad was like, "Oh, like about dolls and stuff," and I'm like, "Yeah, I heard it's pretty good." And then when I got home that night, I went into their bedroom and woke them up and was like, "Hey, the Barbie movie was really good. You should see it."
Fantastic.
Yeah,
definitely get out there.
So my mom wants to see it, and
my mom does too.
Yeah,
I told her, my sister, everybody I've seen like that first weekend the movie came out. I was like, "Go see it, man! It's hilarious." Like.
And if you get offended by it as a man, you should just take a look at yourself. Just do some,
meditate maybe in the morning.
Mind searching. Just, relax.
Yeah, just relax.
Just relax about it. It's fine.
It's just supposed to be funny. It's all in good fun. You're okay. You're
fine. You'll be fine.
You're still on top.
Yeah,
don't forget that.
That's, again, one of the points of the movie. That was another thing, like, people were pissed that, like, oh, at the end, like, Barbie society is still unequal and men don't have as much power as Barbies, but the movie also takes the time to say, like, yeah, Kens will be equal in the Barbieverse when women are equal in the real world.
Sure, yeah.
But that flew right over their heads where they're like, it's promoting, what is it, misandry or something.
Yeah.
But
some reason to complain. Yeah, I've seen, like, things cut, but, like, I love the movie so much that I don't even entertain the sometimes I'll go into people negative things about things I like.
Yeah.
With this, I was like, I'm not even looking into it. It's
not coming from a genuine place. It's coming from a I hate anything
to me. I'm immediately just like, they're wrong.
Yeah,
you're wrong. It's all opinion based, but if somebody told me they didn't like this movie, I would just say to them, you're wrong. To me, you're wrong.
It's good and you're wrong and you have bad taste.
It's in my top 5 comedies. But but I still think it's like what keeps running my brain around this movie is I don't think another movie has made me laugh that much. I think I laughed more at this than I have most things that are meant to make me laugh.
And I mean, it's because there's also like a lot of comedy movies aren't really being made anymore. Like someone did an analysis on this one time I saw, but like basically Marvel movies and like superhero movies have taken over the comedy.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Where like there's not many
jokes in them.
Yeah, there's not many just like pure comedy movies coming out anymore. Yeah. It's like there will be comedy interspersed throughout a different story. But this was a comedy movie while also still being
I don't even know.
Good story.
I didn't know it was like I knew it was gonna be funny. I didn't know it was gonna be a comedy, and it's through and through a comedy.
For sure. You're laughing from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. Beginning to end.
Even during the serious moments, and it's that sounds like it would be dumb, but it's very well executed.
Very well executed. I mean, an experience. That when I walked out of that movie, like I had just got done.
It was an experience, yeah.
Doing it like kind of like
it was a similar
like
to
Spider-Man,
yeah.
Or like when we walked out, like when we saw Endgame,
yeah.
Just like the way the whole audience was involved, because like with Endgame, that's what that was like. We were all watching that together. Barbie felt like that.
Yeah, I mean, people were dressed up.
People had their dolls.
In Du Bois, Pennsylvania, people were dressed up as.
Theater was packed.
Yeah,
it was probably sold out.
It did sold out.
Yeah,
it did sell out.
They turned some people away.
They had to. Yeah, we literally saw them turn some people away. We were like, oh, glad we got our tickets beforehand.
And we were all just like, and they'd reference something, and you'd hear like somebody in the crowd like know that specific Barbie reference.
That was another thing. Like a lot of the references with Barbie went over my head because I didn't play with Barbies growing up. I understood that they were references, and this is a reference for Barbie, and I can still appreciate the joke. It wasn't like I was completely in the dark about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
with the Ken's jacket thing, like that was probably a real jacket that he had, like a Ken doll. It's cool. This is just an aside, but I thought Simu Liu did a really good job in this too.
Yeah, as
like
Ken,
the other Ken.
Yeah.
He was really funny. He's a funny guy. I mean, I originally. My first experience with him was in Kim's Convenience, which is the sitcom about like a convenience store. So I knew he could be funny, but like that just proved it more. Like he's very good. He's
very funny. Yeah,
big roles.
Yeah. Especially with that kind of tone. Oh my god. Yeah, all the Kens. Because one of the other Kens was he's the bad guy on the Nick Fury show on Disney Plus right now. Secret Invasion.
I heard that's bad.
It ends not great. I didn't mind it throughout. It's not the best, but he's the bad guy in it, and he's very serious in it. So like, I was like 4 episodes into that when we saw Barbie. To go from seeing that guy playing this very serious fucking war criminal to like a goofy, funny Ken, it showed a lot of range on a lot of these actors, and I enjoyed.
Sure, I think, you can tell they all had fun. Like they're having fun in their roles
for sure.
A little John Cena can't.
How do you not? Yeah. How do you not make that movie and not have just a blast?
Do you know that's the first movie that John Cena and Michael Cera have starred in together?
I didn't, but I hadn't really thought about it. Like I would have.
But someone said that, and I was like, yeah, that makes. I can't think of any other movies where
they're but stars. I'm not surprised by this either.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a cameo.
Yeah. I mean, he's just in it real quick. Whereas Alan's a whole character.
Right.
First time we've seen him in a while, honestly.
The Resistance, yeah.
Yeah. Like all those fucking guys.
He did have a fight scene.
Yeah.
He was good, yeah.
He beat the shit out of all those like construction worker people. But I don't know if they were Kens or if
they were. I think every
Kens. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I've been writing and raving. I see, like, I usually don't write on people's shit on Facebook. But I saw somebody, like, I posted a status when I got home first. I wrote about that. But then anytime I saw somebody talking about it, I would just chime in and be like, was it that movie? Just the bomb? Like, I am loud and proud. Barbie movie is probably my favorite movie I've seen this year.
It's not an embarrassing thing to say you like the Barbie movie.
No.
It's an embarrassing thing to say that you don't like the Barbie movie.
I agree. If I could go back in time,
it's a nerd shit hot take.
Mm-hmm. It's not hot here, buddy.
Cold.
Pretty cold, because I agree with you entirely. Yeah. So, I don't know. Anything else you want to say about Barbie?
That's what I don't want to spoil all the
Too
best
much.
jokes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we didn't spoil a lot of it.
Not
like,
really.
We didn't really get into the plot at all.
Yeah, even with the plot knowledge, like it's how things play out in the movie that makes the movie what the movie is.
The actors' performances and all of that. Yeah. Great movie all around. Couldn't find a nitpick with it.
No. And I usually try to at least get a couple.
Oh, to be fair and balanced.
Yeah. But there's nothing I didn't like about the Barbie movie.
Yeah. I'd watch it again in a heartbeat.
You can write that on my gravestone.
Probably gonna watch it when it comes out on streaming with my mom. Maybe my dad if I can convince him.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching it with family again and then just like it off for a while.
Because you get to see their reactions for the first time.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's still funny.
Yeah. I don't laugh. I don't know. I do laugh as hard as I do pretty much anywhere. But when I'm watching a movie like in my living room, there's something about the openness of a theater that like it allows me to laugh as hard and loud as I do in the movie theater.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I felt like I laughed very hard and very loud.
There were certain points, there were certain jokes where like you were the only one laughing or you were the loudest one laughing. There's one in the very beginning where like it was just you in the theater. You're like, ha like I looked at you because like no one else laughed really. Like people might have given a few chuckles, but like, you were like belly laughing.
I think the vibe in the theater was though like. Nobody probably thought it was too weird that I laughed because they were like, it is funny. This movie's gonna hit. It's got jokes for everybody.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. I was like, he is into it right now.
I was completely encapsulated by this movie, man. It didn't hurt that we were up front and center.
Right? Yeah, we were
just completely in the Barbie world.
Yeah, balls deep in it. Balls deep in the theater.
Balls deep in a movie for a vagina.
Vagina jokes.
Few vagina jokes.
They're good too.
Genital jokes in general.
Yep, not like
genital
Amy Schumer-esque
jokes,
but genuinely good, funny genital jokes.
As are all of the jokes in it.
Yes. So watch the Barbie movie.
Barbie.
It's a shit recommendation.
The,
Nerd shit recommendation.
Yeah. Oh, we should get a phrase like that.
Yeah.
Like
I just coined it.
We need to change it though.
We'll work.
We need to spice it
a little
into something.
Keep a lookout for our new catchphrase.
What's like something? How do you describe like a good shit?
Rapturous.
I like that, but we'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Got a rapturous shit.
Ooh. A rapturous shit recommendation. We'll work on it. We'll play around.
Yeah.
We're still figuring this whole thing out.
We have a few creative things about the show that we got to work out.
Yeah, we do. We
still got to get merch.
How's that coming?
Still, I mean, the offer still stands.
We'll get there. We make a design and we'll send it to them. Huh. Anything else you want to add to the show before we close her off?
All I had.
Okay. I kind of wanted to end the show with, like, see how this, like, you got any things you're looking forward to? Any nerd shit that you think that
shit in the dark.
Nerd shit in the dark. Yeah, that's.
I mean, the One Piece live action series.
Okay. Yeah.
We've talked about.
Yeah. Like maybe like thinking like homework, like things that you are gonna do in your nerd life for the next podcast. Like One Piece for sure. We're gonna watch that. Look out for that. But by the time we record the next one, we'll probably have watched all of the new One Piece.
I mean, I definitely am gonna finish Guardians 3.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna actually see if there's any other streaming movies or movies on streaming that I haven't seen in theaters to watch that are out right now, because I think they're all starting to come out. I wasn't big into the theater. I haven't seen many movies in theaters besides with you.
Yeah. Love going to the theater.
Yeah, love going to the theater. I mean, I'm still keeping an eye out for new games. I'm probably going to play more 7 Days to Die with Dylan.
Oh, yeah. Hit me up. I'll try.
Yeah, we will. You can hop right in.
We just got at the library the entire series of the Lemony Snicket's books.
Oh, yeah. I've never read them, but I watched the series.
I've never read them. I've only watched the movie. I think I'm going to try to... There's 13 of them.
There's a lot, but they're short books.
They're decent size, but the text is rather large and the pages are kind of small. I'm gonna try to read a few of them by the next. I want to like start that.
I mean, like in the show, every episode is a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or some of them might go
that
into
makes sense.
Some of them might go into 2 episodes. I might be wrong.
I didn't hear that got picked up for like a second season. So like, do they cover the whole series in the first season?
I never finished
Patrick Harris is the uncle, right?
Yeah.
I might. Maybe I'll try to read some of the books and watch some of the show.
The series is pretty good.
About it, because I think I want to have that first taste. Because I've forgotten the movie. I watched it when I was young.
Robin from How I Met Your Mother is in it too.
Oh wow, they got the cast of How I Met Your Mother back for it.
Yep.
That's cool. My favorite show. So that's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna tackle try to tackle a few of those books before the next podcast.
Yeah, you could plow
Give you my thought. Yeah, they're not big and they're just depends. I've been playing so many video games at work. I wouldn't have got through No Kuni if it wasn't for work. So I got to take some time off of that to read.
Yeah, I need to get back into reading.
Reading's fun.
As an English teacher, I should read more.
Reading's fun. Reading's important.
Yep. Read more.
Read more.
That's a shit recommendation.
That's a shit. I already forgot the word.
Rapturous?
That's a rapturous shit recommendation.
Rapturous shit recommendation.
The RSR. Rapturous shit recommendation.
Perfect.
That's what we'll call it. Wow. We solved it right on the show.
You did it. You saw it in real time.
Go team. We work better.
Some behind the scenes.
When we work together, man.
We do.
I missed you. It's been a few weeks.
It's been almost a month.
Almost a month. Well, ladies and gents, shitters, that's the show.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us.
Get the fuck out of here.
Remember to follow us on Spotify, Apple, podcasts. We have a YouTube channel that I'm trying to upload some stuff to. It's called Nerd Shit Entertainment. Nerd Shit, all one word, entertainment. Nerd Shit in the Dark on Spotify. Follow us, subscribe.
We love you.
We love you. And as always, Braden's gonna sing us off with a little ditty.
All right. Nerd Shit in the Dark. We talk about shit like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Chase? What did you say about them?
I said that it was pretty good. 86 probably for me, but like that's still pretty good. I really like them turtles.
So we 86, 86, 86, 86, 86, 86, 86, 86. Give that Nerd Shit 86 reviews. All right.
Toodles.
Toodles.
Sorry, I really put you on the spot there.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.